All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about one of the biggest, most frustrating challenges in the nonprofit world, strategic planning. You know the drill. You create this beautiful, detailed document that, more often than not, just ends up sitting on a shelf. So today, we're going to look at how to turn that static document into a living, breathing roadmap that actually gets you where you want to go.
I think every single board member, every nonprofit leader, knows this feeling deep in their bones. The call goes out for a new strategic plan, and you can almost feel this collective sigh of, oh, here we go again. It's this all too familiar cycle of excitement, a whole flurry of activity, and then it's just radio silence. The plan gets filed away, and honestly, not much really changes.
So let's be real for a second. Does this sound familiar to you? This idea of shelfware? It's a huge pain point, right? It's a plan that's built with so much hope and the best of intentions, but it somehow becomes a relic, just gathering dust. It represents so much wasted time, wasted energy, and maybe worst of all, wasted opportunity. And the reason for this, usually, is a pretty fundamental flaw in how we think about strategy from the get-go.
And here it is. This is the absolute crux of the problem. We tend to plan from the inside out. We're always focused on our organization, our programs, our capabilities. But what if we just flip that entire script? What if we started with the very people we're trying to serve? There's actually a great story from the business world that just perfectly illustrates this massive shift in thinking.
So this slide really breaks down a story that I heard called Project Sedona. On the left, you've got the old, organization-focused way. A team had this incredible new technology, and they went out trying to sell it based on all its amazing features. But the deals kept stalling. Customers were skeptical because they just couldn't see how it helped them. The light bulb moment came when they switched to the new way you see on the right. They stopped pushing their tech and started asking clients about their challenges, co-creating solutions with them. All of a sudden, everything just clicked. And that lesson, it's the absolute key for nonprofits too.
So how do you actually make that shift? From being all about us to being all about our stakeholders? Well, the solution starts with a new way of thinking, a new foundation that's visualized perfectly by something called the double diamond model. It's a really simple but powerful way to structure your process so you're solving the right problem before you even start thinking about solutions.
The first half of the model is all about diverging. Think of it like casting a really wide net. Instead of just assuming you know what the problem is, you go out and you explore it. You talk to people, you gather their stories, you collect insights, and this is the most important part. You do it all without any judgment. It's about seeing the whole landscape before you try to draw a single path on the map.
And then, after you've gone wide, you converge. This is where you bring it all back in and focus. You take all those different perspectives and you start looking for the patterns. You synthesize all of that information to nail down what the real core challenge is. This rhythm of diverging to explore and then converging to define, that's the real heartbeat of this entire approach. So how do we actually put this philosophy into action? Well, that's what this is all about. The double diamond model is the why, and this 5-step blueprint you see here is the how. It's a practical playbook. You start with step 1, empathize. Then you align, define needs, generate ideas, and finally, you prioritize actions. It's a clear path to get you from these big, broad ideas to a focused, agile plan. So let's quickly walk through what each of these really means. Okay, step 1, empathize. This is where you start mapping out absolutely everyone your mission touches. And I don't just mean your clients or beneficiaries. We're talking about your staff, your volunteers, your donors, board members, community partners, the whole shebang. Who are all the people involved here? Next up, step 2 is to align. Now we're moving from just a list of names to really, truly walking a mile in their shoes. Empathy maps are an amazing tool for this. You actually force yourself to ask, what are people saying out loud and what are they doing? But even more importantly, what are they privately thinking and feeling? That's where the gold is. That's where the real insights are hiding. Once you have that deep sense of empathy, you move on to step 3, define needs. This is one of those convergence points. You take all those rich human insights and you distill them down into a single, clear opportunity statement. This frames the problem from their perspective, not yours, and that becomes your North Star for everything that comes next.
Now that you have a really clear problem to solve, you get to diverge again. Step 4 is all about generating ideas. This is the fun part, the creative part. The goal here is quantity over quality, at least at first. You want to brainstorm a massive range of solutions, from the totally practical to the absolutely audacious. No idea is a bad idea at this stage.
And finally, we converge one last time in step 5, prioritize actions. This is where the rubber meets the road. You take all those amazing creative ideas and you run them through a bit of a reality filter. A simple prioritization grid is great for this. You just plot each idea based on how much value it brings to your stakeholder versus how hard it is for you to actually deliver. This is how you build a plan that's both inspiring and, actually possible.
So, what do you get at the end of all this? Well, I can tell you what you don't get. You don't get a 100-page binder that sits on a shelf. What you get is a living, agile roadmap. And honestly, the best way to think about this roadmap is with a simple and kinda delicious analogy, the cake roadmap.
First up, you've got the cupcake. This is your quick win. It's a simple, low-risk thing you can do right now, today. It's not going to solve everything, but it delivers real value almost immediately. It helps you learn, and it builds that crucial momentum and buy-in from your team.
Next, you have the birthday cake. Now, this is a bigger project, something like a quarterly goal. It's going to need a bit more planning, a few more resources, more coordination. But the payoff is a much more significant result that moves you way closer to your big strategic goals.
And finally, there's the wedding cake. This is your long-term vision. It's the huge, complex, resource-intensive initiative that really represents your biggest, most transformative goals. Now, you don't start here, but every cupcake and every birthday cake you deliver is a step on the path to making this incredible vision a reality.
And all of this brings us to this final, absolutely critical idea from Eisenhower. Plans are worthless, but planning is everything. See, the goal isn't to create some perfect, static plan that never changes. Strategy isn't a document, it's a practice. It's this continuous rhythm of listening, learning, and adapting. So the real question I want to leave you with isn't what's in your plan. It's how alive is your planning.